Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Confessions of a Gaming Mum. So today's video, there'll probably be a lot of groaning and oh, can't we just get away from it for 5 minutes, but I thought it was worth talking about considering everyone's talking about it at the moment. And that subject is, who are all these people buying the bloody toilet paper? Seriously though, yeah, I just thought I'd do a video on what's going on currently with the coronavirus, considering even though a lot of people probably don't want to admit it, it affects us all really. Even if we aren't in that group of people that it might affect, like it might be fatal to. So obviously if you're not immunocompromised or you're not over the age of 65 and you don't have any respiratory conditions, then you're probably going to be fine. But I'm sure, I can guarantee that pretty much nearly everyone that wouldn't be affected has someone in their life that could potentially be affected and could potentially die from this. So it does affect us all. I mean, it's not as if you can really get away from it, especially within the gaming industry. I mean, one of the biggest news items at the moment is the fact that E3 has been cancelled because of the coronavirus. I think there's talk of like VidCon in LA. I can't remember if this was a fact or just a rumour or something, but yeah, I pretty much think that a lot of conferences, like gaming conferences, are being cancelled at the moment, and rightly so. I mean, you get God knows how many lurgy from going to these conferences anyway, and one thing you don't want to catch is the coronavirus. And as was it someone tweeted the other day, I thought was really funny, saying about yeah, if you caught coronavirus at a convention, it would probably mutate into something a lot worse, like the T-virus or something. So it's probably for the best that gamers don't all gather together, although I'm sure there's a lot of people that would prefer a zombie outbreak rather than just the coronavirus. But yeah, it's also one of those things as well where for E3, I have a feeling, I think a lot of people are saying this as well at the moment, that this could actually mean the end of E3. Because like when I went a couple of years ago, I mean, it was amazing. I'd wanted to go to E3 my whole life, but obviously I'm not a gaming journalist or working in gaming, so it wasn't really something I could go to until recently when they opened it up to the general public. But I just think it was just the same to me personally when I went as any other gaming conventions, so there was nothing really special about it. Yeah, and the fact that like Sony and Nintendo, I think now, are doing their own sort of presentations that they would have done at E3, but now they just find it a lot cheaper and a lot easier to do their own version. So yeah, I think that a lot of the people that were still going to E3 now that it's cancelled will obviously do their own presentations and actually realise it's cheaper and a lot easier, and they get just as much feedback if they do it themselves. And unfortunately, yeah, I just think that's going to be the end for E3. I think Gamescom is technically still going. I'm not sure what's happening with that. But yeah, it just seems like with Gamescom tends to be a lot popular and a lot more successful than E3. But I don't know. I'm just spouting rubbish at the moment. But yeah, it is an upsetting thing to think that this could be the end of E3, which has been such a massive part of a lot of gamers' lives, I think, for quite a number of years, in terms of it was always marked in the diary and everyone always looked forward to what was going to be announced. So yeah, it will be sad to see it go, but I think that's just a change in times really. And it probably is a good thing technically in terms of environment as well, in terms of not everyone's flying to be at one place in the world and stuff like that. Again, I'm rambling when this video has nothing to do with E3, although I did want to bring it up. But yeah, and then you have obviously all the governments in like different countries in the world have their different reactions. Especially the UK government has got a really interesting take on the whole thing, in terms of, yeah, you're just gonna, like, pretty much everyone's gonna catch it. A lot of people will die, so we just have to get on with it really.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
And they're not like shutting schools. I think they've started banning large public events. I think that's actually happening. But in terms of anything else, like the country's not going into lockdown yet. Yeah, they're not shutting schools because they just think it's a lot easier to keep kids in schools. I It's the babysitting service for all the parents that can't get time off work. But I think a lot of people will be working from home. I mean, my sister's been offered to work from home, and so has my husband's. I think places will be a lot quieter, and hopefully it will help in terms of like, because I think like the UK government was saying about it's best to just delay it to the summer when it will have much less of an impact on people. So yeah, we'll just see. I mean, it was at the point, it's weird to think that like at the beginning of the year when this was all happening, that it was just nothing. It was something like when you had like SARS and all the other things that people started panicking over, and nothing really came of it. But this is starting to get very, very real. Like the fact that we were planning to go to Florence for our anniversary in April, but that is looking very unlikely now in terms of originally when we saw that Italy went into lockdown, and they were to basically review it April 3rd. We were like, oh, there's still a chance that we might be able to go, but obviously now it's started to affect us in terms of like in the UK. That just might not be an issue, so we might have to either cancel or delay it. So that was kind of like, it's a selfish thing, I know, but it's something I always really look forward to every year is going. So it's just one of those really shitty things. But then I think we all have to make sacrifices right now. But yeah, it's just, I think it's becoming, I think since that announcement from the UK government, it's become that little bit more real in terms of realising like the members of your family that could actually be affected by this. So I mean, I have a nan that's in a home. They haven't brought in measures yet, but I know the government were saying about possibly like limiting like the sort of people that got to visit or something with old people, which obviously would be pretty devastating for the old people involved. But obviously if you're going to stop them from being wiped out by this virus, then what else can you do really? I think there's been a few that have already had some cases, so you just got to hope that those people that it hasn't affected the whole everyone within that home, and that they actually recover. I have to say, I think one of the biggest things as well that's probably worrying me, that's always in the back of my mind, is the fact that you have these morons out there that are just panic buying absolutely everything. Is I go out. Rarely, but when I do go out and like I go in the shops and everything, and people seem to be acting like completely normal, everything's fine, everything's okay. Wouldn't think that there was like this sort of plague coming to get us sort of thing. But then you go into the shops and you see all the empty shelves, like in our local supermarket, all the pasta was gone the other day. Apart from the whole meal pasta and the high protein pasta, that was still there. All the expensive stuff was still there, it was just all the cheap pasta had gone. But like I said, all the toilet roll. I know there's mums or parents, I should say, out there that are worried about being able to buy formula and nappies because they're sold out. There's a few breastfeeding groups on Facebook that have actually suggested to formula feeding mums that if you can find some local breastfeeding mums, they might be able to donate milk for you. And this was another thing I was going to, I think this was a video I was going to do, but then I kind of decided against it, like with the whole Australia bushfires and stuff, with like parents that had no access to clean water in order to make formula for the babies. And I can't remember who it was, but yeah, someone posted on Facebook and was told they were mum shaming. The fact that babies will be the first victims of any sort of worldwide disaster, like a virus or, like I said, a bushfire or anything, or flooding, because I think it was a problem as well in New Orleans with the Hurricane Katrina like a number of years ago. Again, you have no clean water, you can't make formula, and if you use the water that you have, you could end up poisoning your child. So it's one of those things, and at the moment it's more, like I said, it's just people being idiots and just panic buying. It's like, I get it to a certain extent, but I think it's got to a point now, it's almost like a ripple effect. You have the morons at the front who are panic buying because they think that they're going to just go into complete lockdown. They're not going to be able to leave the house because everyone outside is going to be like coughing and sneezing all over them and kill them. So they buy all the formula or whatever. But then you have the other side where people see that there's low supply and they're like, shit, if I don't buy it now, then what are the chances that when I do actually need it, it's not going to be there? So those people I can understand to a certain extent, but it's just, it's just really frustrating that you have these idiots that are just so selfish and just think of themselves, and in that particular point it's like individuals can be smart, but when you have groups of people and they panic, everyone just becomes complete and utter idiots. And I think we all just need to take a breath, calm our tits, and just realise that we're not the only people out there. We need to stop being so bloody selfish. And like people have been saying on Facebook, like and Twitter as well, about the fact that there's going to be a lot of people out there that are a lot more vulnerable, that can't spend money and stockpile. I mean, me for one, is not that we wouldn't be able to afford it. We could probably stockpile some, but we just don't have the space. We have nowhere to put this stuff, so we can't stockpile. Not that we would want to, but we can't. And you have other people that like maybe can't get out so often, or like the little old lady that goes to the shops and she can only carry so much. It's like she can't stockpile, can she? It's like the smartest thing is just, if you do get quarantined, and I've read this somewhere, that you get online shopping, so you get your shopping delivered to you, but you leave a note on the door so that you don't infect the bloody poor delivery man. So he leaves it on your doorstep, but just rings the bell and walks away, or like something like that. I don't know if you have to sign anything when you make a delivery, but because I've never done that. I've always just gone to the shop myself. But yeah, there are smarter ways around it, and obviously you have the whole thing of washing your hands and not touching your face so much. I mean, I'm guilty of touching my face, as you probably see, like pushing my glasses up my nose and scratching my chin and rubbing my nose, whatever. But yeah, if you wash your hands and you actually be a decent hygienic person, then you probably don't really have much to worry about. But yeah, it's just one of those things at the moment. I'm not worried for myself or my family so much, because I think like the research has shown that we're like low risk, and babies and children are actually even lower risk. If anything, they're the ones that carry it but don't show any symptoms, and they give it to everyone else. So yeah, I'm not worried for us per se, and being as introverted as we are, I think like if we went into self-isolation for like 7 days, we'd be perfectly fine. Although I think Bubs would be climbing the walls by the end of it if he couldn't go to soft play or any of his classes or whatever. But yeah, I think it's more I'm worried for like, not so much my parents, but maybe my nan and her friends and stuff like that. So yeah, I just think we all just need to collectively just calm down, wash your hands, and don't panic, because panic is probably the biggest killer in situations like this, and like the biggest problem. Like, I'm pretty sure if we didn't know anything about this virus, we'd all be just carrying on as normal. And like and like it's obviously coming to light now that the coronavirus is more than just a flu. But when it first came out and people were saying, yeah, it's just a flu, I'm pretty sure if it stayed like that, then we wouldn't have all these empty shelves in shops. You wouldn't have people panic buying bloody hand sanitizer. Anyway, I think I'm rambling for too long. It's just, like I said, I wanted to do a video on it. I might do a video on it later if problems escalate and I do find myself in isolation or whatever. That would be interesting. But like I said, I don't think I go out enough to be in risk of catching it from anyone, unless like Bubs catches it off from one of his classes or whatever, I don't know. But we'll see. But like I said, everyone stay safe, don't panic. Don't panic buy and stockpile. I mean, maybe buy a little bit extra, but don't go mad. Save it for the rest of us. And just try and get on with your life. Don't let something like this get in the way of you living. I think that's the problem. I think people are just getting to a point where they're just absolutely terrified. I mean, I can understand it with people that have to look after those that might be more affected by it, and that's, like I said, that's completely understandable, and I absolutely feel for those people, but those of us that don't have that worry should just calm down, because you're just making it worse. But to be honest, the people that are doing that sort of stuff probably don't go on social media and probably won't watch these sort of videos, so they'll just keep doing it. And I'm still contemplating the idea of just printing out a load of the memes that have been posted on social media and just sticking them around problem areas of the supermarket. Like if there's a low supply of pasta, and just sticking something there, and cans of beans is another one. And obviously with the toilet roll and just making people realise just how moronic they're being. But anyway, if you've sat through this like video of gobbledygook, I apologise, it's nothing to do with gaming or really anything in general, it's just me rambling. But yeah, props to you if you did actually sit through this video. If you have and you're a Tomb Raider fan, I just wanted to give an update basically on the polls and the surveys that I've been doing. Unfortunately there was a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning in terms of trying to work out, because Facebook doesn't do polls anymore, which is just really stupid, so I had to create a survey. But then I found out that the survey is very limited in terms of what you can do if you don't pay for it, and I don't have the money to pay for a bloody monthly membership to a survey, especially when I'm just doing a one-off currently. So yeah, that went a bit awry. One of the ones on Twitter finished early. I think they're all still going apart from one of the questions, but what I'll do when they all expire, I'll put the other survey on there. And I'm thinking I'll keep it going for like a month. So we've nearly had a week, so it'll be open for another 3 weeks and I'll see how it gets on. If you haven't taken part in the survey, then please do. I'll leave a link down below. Even if you're not a Tomb Raider fan, even if you're just a casual gamer, I just really want to get people's opinions on where they would like Tomb Raider to go. At the moment, I haven't looked recently at how many answers we've got. I know with the last, the one that expired, in terms of like the survey that expired, because I won't pay to look at any more than 40 replies. So that's up to 40. The one on Twitter's done really well. I think that's probably at like 250 now, maybe even like 275, I think. I don't know how many have answered the one that I'm going to post below is at. That must be about 30 or 40, I think now. So we've got over 300 replies, which is great, but I would love to try and get even more. I'd love to get it into like the thousands. That would be absolutely epic if we could get those sort of numbers. So again, if you can, please share this survey so we can get as many answers as possible. Because for one, obviously it will convince me that I've got a decent amount of people answering the questions, but also it would be a nice sort of thing to be able to, not that it would ever happen, but it would be nice to be able to like show this survey or these results to Crystal or Square and be like, this is what people actually want. You're denying people this sort of stuff because you think this is what people want. It's not. This is actually what the people want. Because I have to say, spoilers, that it's looking to be a lot more classic stuff. There are a few results when I look that surprised me. I won't go into them here because obviously I'm going to do a full video on it. But yeah, there's a few results that surprise me, but again, it's one of those things that I don't think the results are wrong. It's everyone's personal opinion, so it's just really interesting to see what people actually like and don't like. Like I said, you'll have some results where it's all classic, then you'll have some that are half and half. So that is really interesting to see how people's preferences lay. But yeah, so I'm going to leave that open for another 3 weeks, and then I'll do a video about the results and we'll just see where that goes. But yeah, anyway, I think I've done enough rambling. and yeah, props to you if you watched to the end of this video. Leave a like if you somehow liked this video. Subscribe, share the video if you actually think it's worth sharing. You can also sign up to my Patreon, because as I say in every video, every little helps. And also you've got my social media handles that I've had along the bottom of the screen, but I'll also post them below as well. If you wanted to strike up a conversation about the coronavirus, then I'm more than happy to chat to people, because I know there's obviously a lot of people that have different levels of anxiety about different things, or they have different theories, like it's all a conspiracy, it was man-made and by Russia or whatever. Anyway, yeah, just start a conversation below. I'd be happy to join in and start a discussion. That'd be great to talk to you guys. And on that note, I'm going to say love you, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye.